My stepbrother spread rumors to everyone that I had tricked our father into altering his will, right up until the attorney read aloud the personal note Dad had left behind, clarifying his reasons. Dad wed Colleen when I was 11 years old. She came with Brendan, then 14, who from the start believed I was destroying his world. For the next 7 years, I did everything I could to earn his approval. I surrendered my own college savings when Colleen claimed they couldn't cover the fees for his elite private school. Family members make sacrifices for one another, Dad always said. So I enrolled in community college and took night shifts at work. Brendan went to Preston Academy and traveled through Europe each summer. When Dad received his diagnosis of stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the entire dynamic shifted. He had roughly 6 months left. Colleen and Brendan came by twice during the first month, then their visits ended. Busy schedules at work, rowing competitions, previous commitments. I relocated to Dad's home and left my job. I handled his prescriptions, supported him through the nausea of chemotherapy, and dozed in the recliner next to his bed because he was frightened of passing away by himself. Colleen would phone every few days to inquire how he was feeling, then pass the phone to Brendan, who repeated the identical question in the same flat voice. Neither of them ever asked how I was holding up. The last month was agonizing. Dad could no longer keep food down and struggled to form words. I put on his favorite jazz albums and read him articles from the newspaper, pretending life was still ordinary while his organs failed one by one. 2 days before the end, his attorney Devin visited the house. Dad requested that I step out of the room. They talked privately for about 40 minutes. When I came back in, Dad had tears on his cheeks. "Thank you for staying with me," he whispered. "For truly staying." He passed away on a Tuesday as I softly sang the lullabies his own mother had sung to him years ago. Colleen and Brendan showed up 4 hours afterward, already dressed in mourning clothes. The funeral service was crowded. Colleen wept dramatically in the front row, receiving sympathy from everyone. Guests told them how fortunate Dad had been to have such a devoted family. I remained in the back row, drained and numb. The reading of the will took place 1 week later. Devin unsealed the papers. To my wife Colleen, I bequeathed the seaside property and $50,000. To my stepson Brendan, I bequeathed my collection of classic cars and $50,000. The rest of my estate, estimated at around $3.2 million, I leave to my daughter. The room fell completely silent. Brendan lost control. "This is ridiculous." She coerced him while he was weak and disoriented. Colleen chimed in immediately. "We're going to fight this in court." She kept him away from us during his final days. There's also a letter, Devin mentioned calmly. He drew out an envelope and began reading it aloud. "To anyone doubting my choice, let me make it perfectly clear. Over 7 years, I observed one child give up everything without ever demanding recognition. I observed another accept everything without ever giving back. In my final illness, only one person was truly present. Only one person cared enough to stay through my darkest hours. The distribution is not equal because the care and affection were not equal. I am fully aware and of sound mind as I make this decision, with a heart full of gratitude." Colleen snatched her handbag and stood. "We're not done with this." Brendan jabbed a finger in my direction. "You spent all those months playing the perfect daughter just to get money. For the first time since the reading began, I met his eyes directly. I had no idea he was revising his will. I was there because he was my father and he was facing death. "No one's going to buy that story," Brendan sneered. "I don't care whether anyone buys it," I replied. I only needed him to know the truth. They rushed out, vowing to hire attorneys, but in the end, they never pursued it. 6 months afterward, I put the family home on the market and purchased a modest pharmacy in the neighborhood where Dad grew up. I gave it his name. Every Sunday, I still go to his graveside with a fresh bouquet and play his beloved jazz tracks from my phone. The inheritance was never really about the money. It was about finally being acknowledged, about 7 years of unspoken devotion at last being validated, about a man on his deathbed expressing gratitude in the only way he still could. I keep that letter tucked in my desk drawer. On difficult days, I take it out and read it again, reminding myself that I was there not for any reward, but because of the profound loss I couldn't bear. That truth means far more than anything Brendan could ever comprehend.